Getting better at this. Forgot to have the camera up. I think I got the music cue going in there, okay. We'll see how that goes. Hey folks, Alan here. We're gonna take a little quick look. So I've had some scripts that I've been working on recently, and a couple of times I've needed to have access to username and passwords. Generally speaking, I keep that stuff in a password file, or excuse me, in a password manager, and I make environmental variables, which is one of the safer ways to do that. But for example, the Amazon system, you just put your credentials in a .credentials file and you lock down that file. And I've got some stuff that I kind of need to get to all the time that I need to like embed it in a script it's much easier to embed in a script, and this gets on the security convenience spectrum. But I don't want to embed the password itself, but I'd like to have something better than an environmental variable. So something that I've done with my Amazon credentials is I actually encrypt my Amazon credentials with a local key that allows me to have the credentials and you can see them. If I accidentally flash them on screen, it would be fine because they're encrypted. And so they're encrypted with a private key that y'all don't have access to. You could decrypt them with a public key, but I could put the public key out there if I really wanted to. Actually, wouldn't want to do that. But the biggest trick is they look like gobbledygook, and I'll show you one here in a minute. But so what I want to do is create a series of files that are basically just the usernames and passwords for the various things that I need to log into. And I want them on my thing, but on my system, but then I also want them encrypted with that one level of encryption. Again, if somebody got my computer and they got into it, they would be able to get to this stuff because the key that does the decryption is on the computer itself. But then, of course, the Amazon credentials are stored in plain text sitting right next to it, so that's even easier to get to. So I'm kind of looking at that security model, and I'm like, okay, if Amazon basically is under the belief that like the right way to do this is to lock stuff, is to make sure that your access to your computer is locked down, and they're willing to be okay with that because I don't know how else you do this. It's going to be okay for any of the stuff that I'm working on. So the way that I'm going to do this is, oops, that's not gonna help. I'm just gonna make a credentials directory in my home folder, and nothing in it, right? And then so I was originally thinking, you could do some JSON stuff, or you could do whatever, but like, I think the quickest and easiest thing to do would be, so that you don't have to think about it, is you basically just have a file name that lets you know what the thing is, and then you just have a string that's in there. So, for example, I've been working on that Redshift stuff for the Alteryx process that I'm working on, and that's sitting in my demo account. So we're going to make, what do we need to have? Redshift. PERSONA, personal sandbox demo CLI is the name of the account. And then password. It's a very long thing. And then I'm just going to put something in here right now, it doesn't matter what. Our goal is, whoops, I don't know how to stop recording in Vim. Nope. I'm just gonna bail. Try that again. Be quick. Whatever. Quick. Brown. Fox. Doesn't matter if we have characters or whatever in there, because this would just be a password. So now I've got that file, but it's still just plain text that's sitting there. So if here's where that potentially becomes an issue, like if I was going through and I needed to figure out where my credentials were and I click on this, oh, I thought it would show you. I swear I've seen it show text there. Whatever, I don't want it in plain text. So here's what we're gonna do. There's software out there called PGP, or at least that was originally what it was, Pretty Good Privacy, is where it started, and it's commercial software, commercial proprietary software, we can see right here. that does this public-private key thing, and it's really neat because basically you can encrypt something with a private key, and only the public key can decrypt it. The private key can't even decrypt it. Or you can encrypt with a public key, and then the private key can decrypt it, and the public key can't. And so you can use that to basically make sure that your stuff isn't being seen in transit. There's some other stuff with signatures, and like there's a whole rabbit hole here to get into. But so PGP was the original stuff, but it's proprietary. And then so other people made GPG, flipping the letters, GNU Privacy Guard. And there's GPG tools, which is what we're going to use. So I've already got this downloaded on the Mac. I think it's for everything. Or that may be the Mac version. Go to GPG, GNUPG.org, and you can find Windows software on here somewhere. I've got the Mac stuff, but so what I'm going to do is I've got it up. So this is what it looks like. I'm hidden a bunch of rows here that just show some information like email addresses and stuff that y'all don't need to see. And so the way that we're going to do this is we're just going to make a new key. And I'm going to name this new key local storage. And the email address, you gotta put an email address. So I'm going to do local. I'm going to do storage at localhost.local domain. Doesn't super matter. I'm actually not going to put a password in here. And this is one of the critical things with your actual GPG key. You want to have really good strong password on top of it, so that if somebody gets your key, they still can't get into it. They actually have to have the password. With what I'm doing, I don't know what's going on there in the background. I'll look at that in a second. I'll look at that now. What's going on? Here, disconnect for now. We don't need you. But for what I'm doing, I want to be able to have a script do this decryption, and I don't have to pass the password to the script or through the script every single time. So I'm not going to put a password. Don't do that. And again, this is not, so what I'm doing is not a super secure thing. Like, this doesn't really add security. This just makes stuff obscure. I'm relying on the security of the system to actually keep stuff safe, in the same way that those Amazon credentials are there. I'm relying on the hard disk encryption and my passwords, the strong passwords and the two-factor authentication to get into everything, to be there. So, because if you get into my computer, you could get through all this stuff, because you could find GPG, you could find my private key, you could do this decryption. So this is not a security thing. This is an obfuscation thing. But it's something I want to do in case I accidentally flash a credential. Going through this method, I won't actually expose the credential. I'll just expose an encrypted string. So no password. Strength is obviously none, and we're going to just generate the key. Yep. Continue without password. Key's being created. This may take a minute. There we go. I do not want to upload this to a public server. There's different things you can do with the public keys, where you can push your public key up to a server so that people can grab it from there and have trust that it's you, and some other things like that, but we're not going to do that. So this is our key that we just made. And give me 1 second, because I actually don't remember what I said the email address was going to be. Storage at localhost.local domain. And the reason we're going to need that, actually we can put that away right now. We don't need that anymore. Because now what we're going to do, and I've got the command saved over here. So I'd been using self at localhost.domain, but now we're going to do storage. So again, if we cap this file, if we just put it out, there's our password. Quick brown fox period sharp f, or f sharp. At one point I forgot the name of sharps and flats, and they're called accidentals in music, and that word went completely out of my head. Don't know why I just thought of that. But so anyways, what we're going to do, so when you install the GPG tools, it also installs a GPG command line tool. Trying to guess what you meant. And that actually lets you do, like, so I could actually go through and encrypt this file from the command from the Finder. There should be, yeah. So here's all this open PGP, encrypt, decrypt, whatever. So I could actually do this. I don't actually use that stuff. I just do the command line version just because it is in my head and in my grimoire. So Armor makes it not show up as binary. It actually makes it look like ASCII characters. Encrypt does encryption. Yes, I think just jumps. I forget what the R does. Let's find out. Man, GPG. Whoops. Whoops. Work. Recipients. Refresh keys. Refresh keys. Refresh keys. Rebuild. Generate random. Random. Evoke. Oh, we're getting closer. We're getting single letters down here. Good Lord. See, this software does a whole lot. There's probably a way to put a space after that, but I don't want to risk it and start over. The random seed, random. Wow, this may be. Oh, is that it? Oh, don't start it. Okay, who knows? I don't know what R does. We'll look it up later. But so basically, all we got to do now is run this. Again, I like being able to copy and paste commands. So there's that, and then I'm going to go with Redshift. And so what that should do is make a new file for us. And so here's that new file that I just created. And this is the encrypted one. So it's encrypted with that private key. And so if we cat this one, Redshift. Whoops, that was the wrong one. Let's try this again. So this is what this is all that you see. And that's encrypted with a private key. So, well, actually, I guess if you have my public key, you could get that. I should do that the other way. I should encrypt it with a public key. It kind of doesn't matter because I'm not distributing either one of those keys, but like that would actually be the safer thing to do, would be to encrypt it with the public key. Because it's a public file and you want to do that. Yeah, how do we do that? No, public. Encrypting, decrypting documents. Set recipient, GPG. Certain encrypting to a recipient specified by key file. The key must be imported in advance. Import. Determine the key ID of the key stored with all that jazz. I'm not going to mess with this right now. There's probably a way to do it. Worst case is you could import your own public key, I guess. I don't want to necessarily run this stuff. Asterisk colons or GP head, whatever. Yeah. Oh, R is recipient. I don't know. I need to look that up. Again, right now, for my purposes, I'm just looking to obfuscate this stuff, so I'm good. Like I've covered that. But like a slightly better thing would be to make sure that this is encrypted with the public key, because if it's encrypted with the public key then cannot also decrypt it. It would require the private key to decrypt it, and that's actually what I want. What would be the ideal here? So I'll have to figure out how to do that. Is that worth putting on the list? Yeah. So just real quick on the Twitch ideas. How to encrypt a file with a I may have already done that with that recipient and then going in. I need to, but I'm not sure about that. So again, this is gobbledygook, right? So now I can, and I'm not going to do it yet, but I can delete this first file that we had, right? The one that just has the Redshift stuff in it, or just the plain text password, clear text password. I think is how you're supposed to say that. So now what I need to do is write a little script that lets us decrypt that. Because what I want to have is a little method that I can basically just pass the name of a file to, and then have it just give me the credentials back. So we're gonna do that today. I guess we're gonna do it in PyCharm. I don't want to do it in PyCharm because you're gonna make a project. Like this isn't really a project. This is just a snippet. I'm just gonna do it right here. Get credential. .py. I'm not in. So let's set up a. Actually, that shouldn't matter. I was gonna set up a virtual environment, but this hopefully just runs in whatever Python we run. So we're just gonna give it a file name. We're gonna pass a file name to it. Whoops. Password. IAL. Wow, can't type. Print password. Return here. All right. Oh, it takes exactly one argument, none given. File name. Redshift something. We'll get that right in a minute. Okay, so we got the basic method setting up. It's just calling. I guess we should get the name of the actual file that we're gonna do, which is here. This. Cool. So now what we need to do is how do you do Py system? External process. Why do I feel like this is still out of date? Python external command. That's suppress. Okay. The advantage of subprocess is it's more flexible. You can get the standout, standard error, and the real status code. For handling official documentation, recommends that over the modular reference system. Yeah, I just did this the other day. So oh yeah, and this is the standard out process. Okay, yeah, so that's why it's highlighted. I just did this the other day. Because what we need to look at, UPG. Credentials. Oh. Because if we do this, whoops. All right, actually gotta remove that file. So I want to see if we run this, if we decrypt that. Okay. It doesn't actually make a file. Okay, it just returns a string. That's cool, but I don't know, I don't want all this other garbage. Is there a quiet flag? I love it when stuff is consistent. -Q is often quiet. So this is perfect. This is exactly what we need. Because what I want is this. I don't know if that music's too loud. Probably is. Let's just paste that for now. Whoops. I've been using so many different pieces of software to do editing, I can't remember what's what anymore. All right, external process. So we need to do sub-process up here. Whoops. We still alive? Yeah, we're still alive. Data, I guess. I mean, we could just straight return it. I guess. I don't know what the Python lords talk about, if you should just return something or if you should throw it to a variable first, but so let's just do ls to start with, just to get something going through and see if we are still alive. No, we are not. So process run. What am I doing? Doing something funny. What did it say? True, your module object has no attribute run. What? Very quickly, I would like to make sure this song is on my playlist, because I like this song. It's kind of cool. Unfortunately, this playlist doesn't tell you if you're adding duplicates, but c'est la vie. Cool. Subprocess run. Why didn't that work? What am I doing? Subprocess. Oh, I think I understand. Python people are screaming at me right now. Ah, come on. What does that do? All right. How can, because that's exactly... Oops. Alright. I mean, when was this done? Oh, September 8th. There's also call for version Python before use call. Wait. Alright. I like that they link documentation here. That's one of the things I like about Stack Overflow is like sometimes even if the original poster doesn't link it, somebody else will come back and do links to docs. Subprocess run. Doesn't capture output. That's okay. I just want it to run. Why is it not? Oh, because this is Python 2. Is this gonna work? Nope. Okay, we've got a different error. Subprocess, missing args. Okay, yeah. So that's, I'm running Python 2. How... I'm going to drop this in Python 3 things. All right, we're going to use another one. It's called Code Runner. This will let me use Python 3. And it's just going to, like, this file is just floating in the air somewhere. Cat get whatever. We could probably just redo this, but we already have some stuff, so we're gonna grab it and we're gonna paste it, and we're gonna see if maybe this doesn't work. Control R. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why I gave you the untitled.py up there. Oh, because that's I'm LSing. Gotcha. Print password, get credentials. Completed process. Is that coming from? Yeah, it's coming from subprocess. Oh, so it must be throwing something to standard error. Like, I don't want that. I just want... Oh, I don't want all this other junk. So close. Completed process. Why is that showing up? Completed process. Okay, yeah. Doesn't capture output. All right, so let's see. I've got this other code snippet. That I did from a while ago. I have no shame about copying and pasting from myself, or really from anybody. ls, let me just drop all the rest of that and see what that does. So pipe, standard output, standard out to code, UTF-8. It took me a while to come up with this, and I mean, hack through it and find people who did it before me. Untitled pipe, there you go, okay. So that's how we're gonna get the piece that we want. Let's do this and this. And so I don't totally understand. Well, let's see what happens. Yeah, see, somehow it knows, it breaks on the space. Like, it almost feels to me like you should just be able to throw all that stuff in there. But you gotta separate them out as, I don't think that file exists there yet. Can't open, no such file or directory. So now if we're gonna go, I'm gonna do pwc, which is my little command that grabs the current directories. Like pwd is print working directory. I made one that's pwc that just grabs it. Let's see what that does. The quick brown fox, there we go. So now all we need to do is, so I could put this in, how do I want to do this? I mean, that's it. That's it right there. So all you gotta do is do that decryption, and then you just gotta pass your file path right. So, so we're gonna do. I'm gonna do this. So I'm kind of going to hard code the directory because, again, this is the stuff that I'm going to be using all the time. Like, I know where my credentials are going to be. And then so file path is going to be, whoops. ASC. No, I'm not going to try and guess that. So file path is going to go here. There's a better way for me to actually run this. I'm just thinking of Sandy Metz's always be one step away from green. I just jumped several steps away from green, even though I'm not testing, but you get the idea. So credentials director goes first. Like I should have done this piecemeal. Like I should have moved, or it would have been better to have just moved the existing string up into the file path variable, move file path down and make sure that works, and then slowly but surely chunk the stuff in. Because oftentimes something will go wrong on the stuff that I just did, and then you'll fight for it. I happened to get it right that time. And like it's not a huge deal, but like I just like, I just really like the Sandy's thing about just stay close to it. There you go. Okay, so that's it. That's our command. All we got to do. So whenever I'm looking for credentials, I just throw this in, and then I call get credential for whichever file has the credential in it that I'm looking for. And when I'm inside the credential, I can get rid of that. And there's no chance that I'm going to accidentally flash a credential, which is what I want to. Because like every now and then I may need to look through that file and figure it out. And then secondarily, the other thing I like about this is, and the other reason I'm doing this isn't just for stream stuff, it's actually for work, is we often have scripts and stuff that are going, and like I was screen sharing with somebody earlier, and I had to put my credentials in a way that they could see them. Now, this person has the same level of access that I do. I mean, we're both admins, so like, fine, but it's still not a good habit to be in. So what I want is the capability, because increasingly I find myself, especially as we've gone remote, having to screen share with people and having to do stuff that occasionally involves showing credentials. Now I don't have to show credentials if I'm running anything in Python. I can just call this script with the right thing and it'll just load it into a variable. And again, this is not a security thing, because like if somebody has access to my computer and everything's open and it's unlocked, they can get to this stuff and figure it out. But that's the same thing with the Amazon credentials, and like that's how the Amazon credentials work again. So it's like but don't think of this as a security thing, really. It's just an obfuscation and a semi-security thing, but it's not like secure. I don't know. Talk to a security person about how to like really define that. This is just a little bit of backstop protection against accidentally flashing credentials. What it amounts to. So that should do it for now. I'm going to be able to use that code. I'm actually going to go use that code right now and do some other stuff that you can't see. So that's it. Have a good one. We'll see y'all. Take it easy, and thanks for watching.